Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Hamid Haroon, the moving spirit behind this big top conference, Governor Sindh, my colleague, Senator Mushahid Hussain, distinguished dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for having me at this conference. This mic is rather positioned bang in my face, and it's going to attack me very soon, I can tell. It's pivoting a little, with a little unease. But anyway, to the subject. You know, there's a challenge always for the lowest riparian. And I'm from Sindh, I understand what low riparian means. Thank you, young man, shukriya. And after 2 days of, conferencing full of unconventional wisdoms and cutting edge information, our job is quite unenviable. But I'm certainly going to warm to the task and hope that there isn't much that has been repeated, although I'm pretty sure it is. So in more ways than one, this CPEC summit signals Pakistan's commitment to change and growth. It is bringing together civil society, governments, opposition, provinces, pretty much all the movers and shakers of Pakistan. So compliments to the Dawn Group for organizing it. And important to remember that newspapers, as Katharine Graham, the publisher of the Washington Post, famously said, furnish the first rough draft of history. Journalists furnish the first rough draft of history, and we are here feeling the hum. Whenever we talk about CPEC or experience it, we are feeling indeed the hum of history, because what it does is it signals CPEC, and our unity on CPEC signals bang in the middle of election year. Let's face it, this is a time where Pakistan is speaking most of the time at each other, not to each other. It's election year, it's 100 days or less to election. But if there's one thing Pakistan is united in, it is that no one wants to be left out of the development and growth momentum this project, this initiative, this juggernaut entails. And the first thing then that comes to mind at this kind of big ticket conference is that, wow, we are currently standing at a nodal point, a nodal pivot in Pakistan and China's long established very special relationship. But what also comes to mind is that we are at an axial point where the world is rapidly turning in a recalibration of its priorities. Amidst the noise of dangerous new global conflicts that threaten the peace and prosperity of many nations, and we also know about the fires that gulf entire regions now, CPEC and the Belt and Road Initiative signal another engine moving relentlessly on in entirely another direction of growth and peace. We can literally hear the wheels of a bold new world order shift its shape under our feet. If you can't hear it and you're still in the granularity of what's wrong and what's right, then step back a little. Maybe the view from Islamabad is a little more strategic, but Karachi makes the wheels of commerce go round, and commerce knows no friction or religion, so here we go. We can also see, at least from Islamabad, and I know that in Karachi you can too, the pulsation of a pointless, unnecessary regional neuralgia that the China-Pakistan partnership is giving some people. My advice to them is that they really shouldn't worry, but instead look for windows of opportunity to join this enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Asian century, because that is what this is. And CPEC is an opportunity. There may be problems, there may be challenges, but it is the biggest opportunity coming this way in decades. What is it doing? It's linking the Atlantic to the Pacific. Let's look at it strategically. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, President Xi's China is now posed to redefine the global economic order as we know it and change the way we think about the world, as the tracks for new global connectivity reframe how human enterprise is working with Gwadar at its launching pad and Malacca, the Strait of Malacca, not the only strategic option, China becomes a two-ocean power. Please understand what that means. China will become a two-ocean power, and that will change the pivot of global affairs. This is both commercially relevant and strategically significant. As a key part of the Constitution of the People's Republic, OBOR has now cemented its place in the wheelworks of China's long-term vision of progress through economic partnerships. It is a projection of soft power unparalleled in the 21st century. Unparalleled. All this is relevant to Pakistan, obviously, in ways no other grand plan for exporting surplus was, because that's what's happening here. China is exporting its surplus. And today, as we see China's investments in Pakistan materializing through the CPEC, I'm very clear that a major part of this success is powered by the groundwork and foundation that the PPP government provided. I'm not saying this because I'm leading the opposition. I'm saying it because truth must be told to all sorts of people, not just power. The Pakistan People's Party has understood the grand Chinese dream very well. Under President Zardari's leadership, we provided state support and strategic access to the warm waters as part of this vision. Therefore, we know that Chinese development stewardship for Gwadar Port was pivotal to the CPEC becoming a reality. Without Gwadar, there would be no CPEC. Over the years, all of us have worked very closely with Chinese officials and investors in facilitating projects, people-to-people relationships, cultural exchanges, and most importantly, ensuring the security of everyone working in the CPEC projects. As we speak, 2,700 students from Pakistan have been granted scholarships to study in China, with thousands already learning to speak Mandarin across the country. I hope, Hamid Haroon, your Mandarin skills are not as bad as my husband's. This kind of exchange is as important. He used to speak Mandarin. This kind of exchange is as important as big-scale projects, because building trust between countries and peoples is what bonds countries together in ties that sustain the tests of time in all weathers and all storms. If you recall, all weather is the metaphor we use to encapsulate our relationship with China. And as the first container ship sailed into Gwadar in this March, CPEC has already started making an impact in all the provinces. We have a long way to go in providing safe drinking water and schools to the people of Gwadar. But I'm glad to see that social responsibility and signature projects are beginning to complement each other. This must be something we work on together as early projects start harvesting into reality. I know everybody's been speaking about industrial investment, energy connectivity, so I'm not going to repeat that. Everywhere there's an industrial park or special economic zone, a port or energy project, there should be a groundswell of children going to schools. There should be functioning healthcare units and waste-to-energy plants, which China is so good at doing at every level. Now, I know the responsibility for this lies with Pakistan, as it does for the people of Pakistan and with the provinces too. But I urge our Chinese friends to double their interest and investment in social development as they are doing already in partnership with UNDP, for instance, in Islamabad. We are proud to say that the forward-looking government of Sindh has also been leading the way in renewable energy projects. Sindh province contributes already 930 megawatts of wind energy to the national grid with the help of CPEC projects. In line with this, the federal government may think of allowing the use of renewable energy in Sindh, because so far it hasn't. Small unknown fact, you might have seen less load shedding today. To this day, Sindh does not have NEPRA tariffs or sovereign guarantees to actionalize and operationalize the whole renewable energy projects it is bringing up. I'm sure the CM said so, but in case he didn't, I'm just repeating. As part of our joint history of cooperation, certainly my party, and I'm sure I can speak with great trust and confidence for the entire opposition, and I think for the government as well. We look forward to continuing to work closely with local and Chinese stakeholders in achieving common goals and interests for the region. 2 ports are now operating at their optimal capacities, and other commercial ports, including the important KT Bandar, are under development in partnership with the Chinese. But let me reiterate, despite the PVP's prolonged interest and relationship from Shahid Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Chairman Mao to Benazir Bhutto, Shahid, and of course President Zardari, and now Chairman Bilawal Bhutto, who visits China very frequently, as I do, on the invitation of the Chinese Communist Party. We are very clear that CPEC is not a one-party or one-province ambition. It is a national project that goes beyond infrastructure development, and we will stand by all efforts to create consensus and operationalize this grand ambition. Consensus building among political parties and provinces is crucial, as the windfall from this venture can change the game, obviously, for Pakistan, but we have been slow in building consensus. The last time I remember we had to have a consensus building meeting or all parties conference in Zardari House while we were not in government. We continue to act like that because this is of interest to Pakistan. And again, let me remind you, because messaging is crucial, Pakistan is not equivocal about its relationship with China. Right now, as we see promises turning to projects, the widespread public ownership of the feel-good factor that China generates in Pakistan continues, but so do questions about equity and transparency. With a multi-billion-dollar investment like CPEC, responsibilities and obligations for Pakistan and China actually double. Transparency and equitability are the foundations on which an initiative with a scale as grand as CPEC must be built on. Again, the responsibility pretty much lies squarely with federal government, which sets the rules of the game. As CPEC rolls out in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 obvious areas to focus on, which I'm sure you have completely deconstructed in great enlightened granularity, but I will touch on them when they are the economy, environment, and security. I'm not a thought leader on any of the above. I know you've had those speaking here all day, yesterday and today, but it is undeniable that as an infrastructure and investment pipeline, the CPEC has the potential of taking Pakistan into a quantum leap of prosperity and peace. It is believed that Chinese investment can stimulate a 15% increase in Pakistan's GDP by 2030 alone, and can likely create over 1 million jobs across multiple sectors in Pakistan. Now, why is this important? At its very early stages, I'm told, CPEC has already created 60,000 jobs, and we hope that Pakistanis will be able to capitalize on this new job market. We need more Pakistanis trained to hold down these jobs. We need more Pakistanis working in these jobs. However, development does not start and end at infrastructure and economic growth. We must also look at tech knowledge sharing and collaborations, because we're entering the 4th industrial revolution. The development of regional value chains, a phenomenon that has entirely reshaped global trade in recent years, is a particularly exciting project. Pakistan is well positioned to gain from this shift, and CPEC is the perfect opportunity to bring advanced manufacturing and production practices to the country. We have a responsibility to empower our youth, and Pakistan can be a powerhouse of opportunities. 60% of Pakistan's population is under the age of 30, making it the country's most important demographic. They must become stakeholders in this big initiative. I look forward to working with the Chinese leadership on ensuring that more jobs and skills are created for Pakistanis. Perhaps we can put together a joint commission between the 2 countries to do that. As CPEC grows, Pakistan and China must look into a broader range of ventures and issues where we cooperate and work on, one of which is environmental protection, something I bring up in every Senate session. We need to take responsibility for it, and climate change. Pakistan currently ranks as the 7th most vulnerable country in the world, the 7th most vulnerable country in the world to climate change. This is serious pause to consider where we are going. Pakistan's carbon emissions are expected to double in 2 years and 14 times by 2050, which is way more than the global average. Given my travels in China, thanks to the Communist Party, I know that the People's Republic is no stranger to challenges brought about by climate change, and they have done a great deal to work relentlessly to mitigate and build resilience for their own people. The enormous industrial investments and projects that will come with CPEC can be amplified if we prioritize creating a clean energy economy. I can only hope that we safeguard the future of generations to come in the name of progress and not create challenges for them. We hope that the Chinese government can bring the clean energy initiatives they have strictly enforced at home to Pakistan. We are old friends, the People's Republic and Pakistan, and whom else can you ask for more? Because we are asking for more, except from friends. Help us with your clean energy initiatives. Together, we must resolve to move towards eco-friendly, sustainable, and renewable energy sources. And let me reiterate, if there is one thing that Pakistanis agree on, it is CPEC's vision of human security, economic cooperation, reform, and joint prosperity. It is one of the most important, vital, and crucial antidotes also to human despair, to joblessness, to extremism, and the fires of terrorism which we hope are receding. As an economic bloc, South Asia will be one of the wealthiest regions in the world, with markets and growth vectors second only to China by 2050. At the same time, the region is also forecast for huge inequality, land hunger, poverty, migrations, water stress, and enormous social deficits. So while we will grow richer as a region, all of South Asia, we will also be growing poorer at the ground level. And there will be more migrations, more land hunger, more water and food insecurity. What is that? Where is that going to take us? These trends can be very divisive in a region that is already crackling with tensions. So really, I'm going to close here by saying that we really believe that CPEC can create a new engine for reinvigorating innovation and ingenuity, not just in both our countries, but for the region. I would urge all those deeply insecure about the CPEC and Pakistan's relationship with China to look at it more closely and perhaps seek to become stakeholders in a better growth vision and seek the peace dividends for South Asia, because we really are a dinosaur in terms of the cold and hot wars that are raging in our region. Our region needs to prosper, and CPEC is not against anyone, as any stakeholder from China will tell you, as any speaker from China will tell you. It is seeking to project Chinese power, certainly, but it is not seeking to leave people behind. And we hope that this is how we're going to continue. I'm going to thank Dawn for making this important summit possible, and the Chinese government for its unfaltering cooperation, support, and friendship to the people of Pakistan. The future really does lie in peace through economic partnerships, not conflicts. Let us hope our roadmaps take our younger people into a brighter, energized, connected millennium. Thank you very much.
Thank you.